After Ivo and Gerald manage to get both keys for the Eclipse Cannon, Shadow uses Chaos Control to teleport them inside. Now, as I've previously said, the Space Colony arc itself doesn't exist, but the interior design of the cannon actually bears very strong visual similarities to SA2. It's the room where all the characters of the story gather together to try and form a plan to stop the arc from crashing into Earth, and also in the room where you fight either Tails or Eggman depending on which story you're playing. It's also here where Dr. Robotnik finally, after 3 movies, receives his iconic red jacket from the video games. More specifically, his modern jacket that he got from SA2 to the modern day. After Agent Stone calls Ivo after being swept away in the crab, for a few seconds you can hear Ivo's ringtone, which is the song Eggman. The song was written and performed by Paul Sortino and arranged by Jun Sonoy, and is also Dr. Eggman's main theme that comes straight out of Sonic Adventure 2, even though it only plays for like 2 seconds. When the Eclipse Cannon begins to rise from underneath the River Thames in London, the music that plays is actually a cinematic version of Dr. Eggman's boss theme from Sonic 06. On board the Ark, it's here where we get the final piece of Shadow's backstory, and we get the infamous and iconic Maria death scene. In lore, the Ark is raided after Gun deems Project Shadow to be too dangerous, and orders their troops to execute everybody on board, including Maria. Shadow and Maria try to run away, though in her last moment she puts Shadow inside an escape pod, with her dying last words being to give the people of Earth a chance and to protect them, before she ejects them from the Ark and is killed by a gun soldier. In the movie, her death is a little different, but still emotionally resonant. As Gerald, Shadow, and Maria try to escape some incoming gun soldiers, Commander Walter tries to get the soldiers to cease fire, only for one of the guns to accidentally shoot a barrel of chaos energy that kills Maria.
Maria, why is she
What makes the death here much more tragic than in the game is that Shadow and Gerald weren't actually there to witness Maria be killed. Hell, Gerald didn't even know Maria was dead until he was imprisoned on Earth and was told by Gun, which caused him to go crazy and want vengeance on humanity. This in turn causes Ivo to have a heel turn where he rebels against his grandfather, attempting to stop the Eclipse Cannon from blowing up the Earth. Shadow causing Super Sonic to revert back to his base form by punching the Chaos Emeralds out of him is much like the opening of Sonic the Hedgehog 3 on the Sega Genesis, only instead of Shadow doing it, it was Knuckles instead. When Sonic and Shadow both grab the Chaos Emeralds at the exact same time, it causes them to both go into their super forms, marking the introduction of Super Shadow. Super Shadow unsurprisingly debuted in SA2, as in the final boss of that game, he and Sonic both used the Chaos Emeralds to power up to face the Bio Lizard, who was pulling the Space Colony Arc towards Earth.
You can't fix it on your own. That's right, you Hedgehog, and everyone loves it.
Yeah! Oh my god!
Yes! 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 No! 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 Fuck! Shit!
While this is going on, Ivo and Gerald have their own confrontation on board the Eclipse Cannon, where they use nanobots to fight each other. Now, I'm pretty sure that the different weapons that they make using the nanobots are a reference to certain Badnik types in the Sonic games. Like, Ivo makes these razor hands, which might be a reference to the Slicer Badnik, while Gerald makes a scorpion tail, which might be a reference to Scorp. While Sonic and Shadow are making their way towards the Ark in their super forms with Live and Learn playing in the background, the mechs that Gerald sends to deal with them might actually be the Gun Hunter robots from SA2, or at the very least they definitely have a very similar body shape, as they have more rigid edges and arm cannons. And of course, the iconography of Super Sonic and Super Shadow flying through space evokes the exact same aura as the final boss of SA2, coupled up with them striking a pose that's a reference to the opening cutscene of SA2, where the two of them pass each other after jumping in front of the moon, and appears again in the end credits. While never said out loud by name, I'm 99% sure that this attack that Shadow uses to blast over Gun Hunter robots at the exact same time is undoubtedly his Chaos Spear maneuver, where he can use the chaos energy flowing through his body to create projectiles to deal with threats. Like in the game, the final act of the movie involves Sonic and Shadow trying to stop a weapon of mass destruction from destroying the Earth from outer space. However, the events actually seem to be reversed. Like, instead of using Chaos Control to teleport the Ark out of the Earth's atmosphere, Shadow uses his super form to push the Ark away instead. Or how in the end, Shadow ends up running out of energy, causing him to fall to Earth. Well, here, Shadow stays in his super form, while Sonic is the one who ends up falling from space in exhaustion. The moon getting partly destroyed by the Eclipse Cannon is exactly what happens in Sonic Adventure 2. Even paired with a shot right before, that mirrors the one where the Eclipse Cannon narrowly misses Earth. Though in the game, Eggman purposely fired a warning shot at the moon to warn the civilians of Earth of the imminent threat of the Eclipse Cannon, while here it happens completely by accident. Eggman's final words to Shadow are,
Vaya con Dios. Erizo epestoso.
This could very well be the movie's interpretation of the classic final line from SA2 after everything is said and done and Shadow is believed to be dead.
Sayonara, Shadow the Hedgehog.
As Shadow prepares to push the Eclipse Cannon away from Earth, he removes his limiter rings from around his wrist. Limiter rings are basically cuffs that Shadow wears around his hands to keep his power in check. Shadow's only done this a few times across the entire franchise, and is only done in extreme situations where it's the only option. In fact, Shadow is so powerful that if he were to keep them off for too long, he would either collapse from exhaustion or even explode. Weirdly enough though, the movie never actually elaborates on that, so really this is just more of a fun visual for fans more than anything who actually know the implications of what it means. The music that plays as Ivo prepares to contain the cannon's explosion is actually a heroic rendition of his theme from the first film. This scene actually does feature a small continuity error or plot hole depending on how you look at it. Eggman's line here,
Dedicating my final live stream to one very special henchman.
seems a little bit odd as he's never live streamed once in the entire film. So this is actually a leftover from a previously unused plot point where he was going to be a live streamer.
Most energy drinks just promise to get you through the day, but one sip of Berserk, and you'll put your Aunt Nancy's big old underpants on a donkey and ride it to the mall just to lick the handrail of an escalator. Drink it and go.
What the hell is that?
There are a few callbacks to the first film and Robotnik's final moments, like the recurring gag about Agent Stone's steamed Austrian goat milk,
I'll miss your lattes with steamed Austrian goat milk. I love the way you make them.
Of course I want a latte.
I love the way you make them!
and him referring to Agent Stone as a sycophant in the second film.
You were more than a sycophant to me. You were a sycophant. Sir, you're magnificent! Thank you, sycophant.
Up there? Where? Higher. Lift yourself open. Left herself open.
Once the day's been saved and Team Sonic share a group hug, Sonic says this.
How about just team?
This, very weirdly, is actually a reference to the infamous Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric for the Wii U, as in that game's final cutscene, Sonic actually says the exact same thing.
Chuck another one up for Team Sonic. How about just team?
And trust me when I say that that's the only time you'll ever see Sonic Boom mentioned in anything post-2017.
Family, and he can't reach them because you won't let him reach
I
them.
don't know what you're talking about.
The track that plays when Team Sonic and the family are all back together again, you can hear a couple of notes from the final track of SA2. Continuing the movie series trends of stylized credits, Sonic 3 opts to pay homage to the 3D polygonal art style of the Sega Saturn. This was done by YouTuber SweetEnTie22, who actually has a video on his channel thoroughly breaking down the process of how he made the end credits. I very highly recommend checking it out if you're interested. And to show your support to the artists who work on these films night and day to make them so visually stunning. And now we get to the movie's big post-credits scene, which is the longest one yet, at nearly 2 minutes long. It's here where we finally are given the introduction of fan-favorite characters Metal Sonic and Amy Rose, both who appeared in the exact same game, being Sonic CD in 1993, released for the Sega CD, a game whose entire gimmick revolved around time travel. This seems to be teased as we see Metal Sonic appear behind Sonic in a quick flash of lightning. This is undoubtedly a reference to The Terminator, another film that revolves heavily around time travel. Like in that film, whenever somebody travels to the past, they appear in a flash of lightning. While this is something that can very easily be ignored, it also does seem to tease the idea that Amy is also from the future, when in the game she's just from the present like everyone else. If you look at the movie's official soundtrack, you can see that the title of nearly every single song is a reference to a line, quote, or moment from past Sonic games, especially Sonic Adventure 2, unsurprisingly. And finally, to cap this long video off, we get a very quick post-credit scene teasing Shadow's survival from the explosion at the end of the film, teasing his appearance in a future project.